bones. So what is this entire thing called? The skull, right? And so that would be number 3. And then what do you think of the 2? What do you think number 1 is pointing to? Yeah, the cranial bones, right? It's talking about the pieces here, and we'll learn the names of all of those as we go. And then what do you think number 2 here is pointing to? Facial bones, right? Facial bones. And so then we start to kind of move down. They don't make you label it, but see this little guy right here? Can you guys see it from where you are? And yeah, the one that moves, that's the hyoid. Okay, and they've already got it labeled for you there, but there's the hyoid. Moving down to number 4, what's this? Clavicle. Clavicle. Okay, so this is the clavicle. Number 5 is this, what's this? Sternum. Okay, the sternum. Number 6, these are ribs. Number 7, what's it pointing to here? Vertebrae. Vertebrae. Number 8, this is the, yeah, and I hate that they call it the hip bone. And I don't know why they do, but yeah, just go ahead and put pelvis. We're not going to call it the hip bone, we're going to call it the pelvis. Number 9. Okay, so carpals are the little ones.
Okay, so those up can do with your fingers or just up top.
Yeah, so your wrists are your carpals, okay? And if you think about like carpal tunnel, that's where people struggle, is right here in their wrist. And then these long bones right here are what? Metacarpals. And then the fingers, phalanges. And if you look on here, and as you guys kind of come around and look at them, the 3 bones on the end are the phalanges. Okay. It starts with a PH. Oh. The phalanges would be number 11.
Okay.
Oh, phalanx, but it's phalanges.
Oh, okay.
Phalanx, but we're going to call them phalanges. Okay? So carpals, metacarpals, phalanges. Which gets us to number 12, which is the kneecap, and that's the patella. The patella. And that gets us to 13 and 14, and so it's just kind of like the hand and the wrist, except it's with a T. So the tarsals would be number 13. And then 14 would be metatarsals. And then why don't you guys go ahead and just label it on your picture? The toes are the phalanges again. The toes are the phalanges. Alright, let's look at the back. Okay. Starting from the top, I guess we'll start with number 1. Turn this guy around. Okay, number 1, this flat bone that looks like a spatula is the scapula. Scapula. Okay, that's your shoulder blade. That's the technical name for your shoulder blade. Number 2, the long bone of your upper arm, humerus. You can remember because when you hit your funny bone, it's not very humorous. So you remember that's the humerus. So that would be number 2. Okay, so number 3 and 4, you've got to look at how they come into the hand. Okay? So you've got to look at the way they come into the hand, because the bones themselves are very, very similar in size. And it has everything to do with how the joint works at the hand. And so the one that's coming into the thumb, which would be 4, okay? Number 4 would be the radius. And you can remember that because that the thumb can go in a radial circle, right? So radius, it has more of a radius of its thumb, is how I remember it. And then the other bone that comes into the pinky is the ulna. And I remember that because pinky's your little finger and ulna's the little word, right? So radius with your radial thumb and ulna with your little word with a little pinky, is how I remember that. Alright, number 5, biggest long bone in your body, biggest bone in your body, the femur. The femur. And then we have the tibia and the fibula, okay, of the lower leg. And when we look at the lower leg, in this case, there is an obviously bigger bone, okay? Your shin bone, right, is here, and it's obviously bigger than the other. And so the bigger of the two is the tibia. And the smaller bone is the fibula. And I just remember, like, you tell a little fib, and so you can remember that that little bone is the fibula. So tibia is the big one, fibula is the little one. A lot of times with those two bones, if you break one of those, they'll screw the broken one into the one that isn't broken to try to keep them stable. A lot of times. Okay. Looking at number 9. Did anybody know what 9 was? The sacrum. Okay. The sacrum, and this is the one that in babies, it's all separate, right? But as you age, it all fuses together. And then the little tip here, coccyx. Coccyx. Okay? And those are the ones for the first kind of thing that I want you to have memorized. So, and just kind of every day, like I'm not going to be here the next 2 days, I'm going to Little Rock with my kids, and so you need to be looking at this and just trying to memorize it. In fact, like you could come up and try to quiz yourself over the skeleton, right? Like, can you name them? Because when you take this quiz, there won't be a word bank. Like, you're going to have to come up with these words, okay? And so, we need to start kind of quizzing ourselves. So to kind of help you guys with that, I'm going to do a little activity.